Good day. Today we're going to discuss how to use MegaStat in Microsoft Excel in analyzing correlation if the variables has indicators. Okay, so let's have this study, this investigation. Okay, let's have the title is Work Attitude and Leadership Skills of Senior High School Teachers. So here, the independent variable is the work attitude. Okay, theoretically, it affects the leadership skills, which is the dependent variable. Okay, the work attitude has indicators, which are the commitment, dedication, open-mindedness rather, respect, sharing, and empathy. The leadership skills, okay, we have the indicators, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and management skills. Now, the research objective of this investigation are, first, we have to describe the level of work attitude of senior high school teachers in terms of commitment, dedication, open-mindedness, respect, sharing, and empathy. The second research objective is to describe the leadership skills or the level of leadership skills of the senior high school teachers in terms of communication skills, interpersonal skills, and management skills. The third is to determine the significant relationship between the work attitude and leadership skills of senior high school teachers. And the last one, to determine what model best describes the relationship between the work attitude and leadership skills of senior high school teachers. Now, let's say that we already have the data for the work attitude and the leadership skills of our senior high school. So here would be the data. Okay. So there are 142 respondents, okay, in this investigation. Meaning there are 142 students who answered the questionnaire, okay, which they evaluated the work attitude and leadership skills of the teachers. Now we have the commitment, dedication, open-mindedness, respect, sharing, empathy, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and the management skills. Now, we are going to get the average of each responses in the commitment dedication. Okay, so using the simple command for the Excel in getting the average, we have the equal sign, type average, open parentheses, highlight those numbers that you're going to get the average, and then close parentheses, and then okay. Then click and drag. So in other words, that would be the average of the responses in the commitment dedication. We will do the same for the open-mindedness up to the last variable. Equal sign, type average, open parentheses, highlight those numbers, close, and okay. Then click and drag. We have this work attitude and drag. For sharing, oops, my fault. It must be here. The last one would be the empathy, average, and then highlight, and all of them. Then we have, take note that you should type the correct spelling of average, otherwise you will not get the number or the exact mean of what you are getting or what you are solving. So Excel is very sensitive to spelling for the formula. Otherwise, you will not get the correct one. Like this. Let's say that I did not type the correct spelling. Okay, so that would be the result because the command is incorrect. Okay, now next, what I am going to do here is I am going to copy the average of each indicators to the other sheet. Okay, so let's have the other sheet. Highlight, right click, and then copy. That's for the commitment dedication. So we have here, right click, and then you're going to paste with these values. Paste the values, and let's name the cell, the upper cell, with wrong spelling. Commitment dedication. Okay. And then open-mindedness. The values, open-mindedness. What will happen if you're not going to click the values? Okay, I will show you what will happen. So you copy, and let's say you just paste it here and paste. So you have these numbers or letters. So asterisk REF. Now that means that what you have copied is actually the formula, not the values. So that's why you have to click this one so that you can copy the values itself, not the formula. What is this one? Oops, sorry. This is actually sharing respect. This is respect. And then sharing. Okay, this is sharing. And then the last one would be the empathy. Okay, now remember that this commitment, dedication, open-mindedness, respect, sharing, and empathy are actually the indicators of our independent variable, which is the work attitude. So if we are going to get the average of these indicators, we can get the overall mean, which is our work attitude. So average, and highlight, then okay. Okay, so that's the overall work attitude in each respondent. Okay, next, we are going to get the dependent variable. We have the communication skills. Communication skills. Then we have the interpersonal skills. Then we have the management skills. Management skills. Take note that communication skills, interpersonal skills, and management skills are the indicators of the leadership skills, which is our dependent variable. So let's get the overall leadership skills of the teachers based on the evaluations of our respondents. We are going to get the average of the communication skills, interpersonal skills, and management skills. So we have equal sign, type average, open parentheses, highlight those numbers that you're going to get the average. Take note, I did not highlight the commitment to the work attitude because these indicators are for the work attitude, which is our independent variable. So we are just highlighted the communication skills to management skills, since these indicators are the indicators of our leadership skills. Then click and drag. Okay, then we're good to go. Now, in some MegaStat, okay, the MegaStat programs or versions are in the add-ins. You can see add-ins here. But in my version, it's not placed in the add-ins, but in the data. So MegaStat. Okay, MegaStat is actually another add-ins for the Microsoft Excel, which will give you an easy way on how to calculate some of statistical tools, okay, that can be used in research. Now, take note that in our research objective, if we go back to our research objectives, the first two research objectives has a keyword describe. Okay, we have described the level of work attitude, and then describe the level, let's say, the level of leadership skills. Now, take note the word describe. Since it is described, then we are going to get the descriptive statistics. So here, click MegaStat. Okay, sorry, cancel. Okay, MegaStat, descriptive statistics. Okay, and then highlight those numbers, the data. Now, take note that there are many options here that you want to get. So you can get the mean, the variance, the standard deviations, the minimum maximum, even the kurtosis, the tolerance, okay, the skewness, and all. Now, in this case, I am going to select only the statistics or the tools that can be used in the research. So I am going to deselect the sample variance, the minimum maximum, but I'm going to get the confidence interval, since the confidence interval is one of the topics in the statistics and probability in grade 11. So we are going to incorporate the discussions in the statistics and probability in grade 11 to the research that we're going to get, or we're going to conduct. So then click OK. And then we have here a new tab, which is the output. This new tab will show you the results of what you have did in the MegaStat. So here, the commitment dedication, we have 142 students, the respondents, and then the mean is 4.454. The confidence interval, we have the lower boundary 4.368 and the upper boundary is 4.535 at 95% confidence level. So take note that the percentage or the percent of our confidence level is 95. Okay. Then we have open-mindedness, we have the respect, the sharing, the empathy, the work attitude, okay, the communication skills, the interpersonal skills, the management skills, and the leadership skills, all in all. So these descriptive statistics is actually the table wherein we will answer, wherein the answers for our research objective 1 and research objective 2 can be get. Now, let's move to the third research objective, which is to get or to determine the significant relationship. Okay, so let's have the MegaStat and then correlation regression. And then click correlation matrix. Then highlight all these numbers. Okay, and then okay. Okay, so this would be the correlation matrix. So the correlation matrix or the table, okay, for us to determine the relationship, then we are going to get the intersection. For example, commitment dedication versus open-mindedness is 0.525. These numbers inside the cells are actually the correlation coefficient or the R. Okay, the R. Now, take note that what we are going to focus is the relationship between our independent variable and the dependent variable. If we go back to our title, the independent variable is the work attitude. Okay, the work attitude. And our dependent variable would be the leadership skills. So in other words, the R, the coefficient R, between the work attitude and the leadership skill is 0.742. Okay, in the previous discussion in your statistics and probability, we have the interpretation of the R coefficient. So you just go back to the discussions that we had. Now, as you can see here, we have the cells are highlighted with yellow or dark yellow or golden yellow. Now, if the color of the cells is the same with this color, meaning that the R, the coefficient, is significant at 0.01 level of significance. And if the cell, the color of the cell is the same with this color, a light yellow, then it is the R here, okay, is significant at 0.05 level of significance. Since all of the cells here, okay, all of the cells here are actually highlighted with a dark yellow, meaning that it is significant at 0.05 level of significance. And remember that if the R is significant at 0.001, it is also significant at 0.05 level of significance. Okay, and if it is highlighted, this means that we're going to there is no statistical evidence to support the null hypothesis. So, in other words, we in the investigation, uh, there is significant relationship between work attitude and leadership skills. So there is statistical evidence to support to reject the null hypothesis. Okay. So in other words, there is significant relationship between work attitude and the leadership skills. Now take note that because there is statistical evidence showing that the work attitude and leadership skills are significantly related to each other, then we can now proceed to our objective number 4, which is to determine the model best describes. Okay. Now let's go back to our sheet 2 rather, MegaStat, correlation, and then regression. Take note that our independent variable is the work attitude. So we have to highlight the work attitude for our independent variable. And our dependent variable is our leadership skills. Highlight, then okay. Yeah, this is just okay. Okay, in the input, we have here that in the regression analysis, the R-squared is 0.551. Okay, R-squared is actually the number that tells us how many percent of our data is being accumulated or being accounted by the model. Here we have the regression output. Okay, the intercept actually is the y-intercept of our model or the linear equation. The work attitude is highlighted with gold and yellow. This means this is significant at 0.05 level of significance. So meaning that the work attitude can significantly predict the leadership skills of the senior high school teachers. The coefficient is 0.7769. So meaning the work attitude, okay, the leadership skills can increase by 1 unit if the work attitude is also increased by 0.7769 unit, provided that all variables or all factors are held constant. Okay. Now, since work attitude can predict the leadership skills of the senior high school teachers, which among the indicators of work attitude can contribute more to the leadership skills of the teachers? So let's go back to our sheet 2 rather, then correlation, regression, and then instead of only the work attitude, we're going to delete this one and we're going to replace the indicators after empathy by highlighting those numbers and press OK. OK. So here, we already have in our previous research regression model that the work attitude significantly predict the leadership skills of the teachers. Now here, among the work attitude, only the dedication, commitment, and the empathy are significantly can significantly predict the leadership skills of the teachers. So, in other words, open-mindedness, respect, and sharing has no statistics evidence that can predict the leadership skills of the teachers. Now, between the commitment, dedication, and empathy, okay, here, the empathy has more has more contribution to the leadership skills of the teachers, since it has greater coefficient compared to our commitment dedication. So since the empathy has 0.3783 and our commitment dedication is just 0.3154, okay, empathy is greater than the dedication. This means that the empathy can contribute greatly, okay, has more contribution to the leadership skills compared to the commitment dedication. Okay, so how we're going to translate this one to the table that you are going to submit, okay, or you are going to include in your manuscript. Okay, so let's make a table for number 1. Okay, by the way, these are the parameters, okay, for our research for the work attitude and the leadership skills. The parameters will give you an overview or an interpretation of the mean being calculated in our MegaStat. Okay, so for number 1, we have the work attitude. Okay, so let's have table 1, and there are 5 indicators. So insert table. There are 5 indicators: the mean, the interpretation, and we have also the confidence interval. So to make it nice, it should be at the center, and the first cells must be bold. So we have independent variable, or the indicators, wrong indicator. Indicators, we have the mean, the level, and the confidence interval. The indicators are, we have commitment, we have the dedication, we have the open-mindedness, then we have the respect, then we have the sharing, then we have the empathy, and of course the last one, we have, this must be bold, then our independent variable, which is the work attitude. Okay, so go back to our description. You can copy this one. The commitment is 4.45. Then we have 4.60. Then 4.48. And then the sharing must be 4.62. 62. And then empathy is 4.58. All in all, the work attitude is 4.55. With the confidence interval, we have 4.37 to 4.54. Then we have 4.52 to 4.69. 9. I just rounded off to two decimal places. 4.40 to 4.56. Then we have 4. What's that? Sharing 4.55 to 4.69. Then we have 4.50 to 4.66. And then for the work attitude, we have 4.48 to 4.61. Okay. Then the level, we have very high. Very high. Okay, so for our table 1, which will answer our research objective number 1, the commitment dedication of the teachers is 4.45, which is the level of very high. This very high means that the senior high school teachers has a very good work attitude. And then since the 4.45 is just the population at the sample mean from our respondents, okay, the population mean is within the interval of 4.67 to 4.54 with the confidence level of 95%. So it means that the true population mean of the confidence of the commitment dedication of the teacher is within 4.67 to 4.54. And the 4.45 in our mean is within the confidence interval. So it means that the 4.45 is a good representative of the commitment dedication of the teachers. Okay, so we also have the 4.60 for the open-mindedness, still very high, which is within the confidence interval. We have the respect, 4.48, very high, and then still within the confidence level or confidence interval of 4.4 to 4.56. So 4.62 for the sharing, very high. Still, we have within the confidence interval, and the empathy, 4.48, very high, and then confidence level, okay, confidence interval, okay, within the confidence interval. Same with the work attitude, okay, within the confidence level. So meaning our means for the indicators as well as the independent variables lies within the confidence interval with the confidence level of 95%. This means that this can be a good representative of our population mean for our work attitude. Okay, that's for our research objective number 1. For the research objective number 2, we're going to do similar to this table. Okay, we're going to make another table similar to this one. So we have, okay, 3 indicators: mean, level, and confidence. So they must be the line must be at the center. This would be both. So indicators, the mean, the level, and the confidence interval. Then we have communication skills. We have interpersonal skills, interpersonal. and then management. Of course, why I always forget this one. Our the dependent variable. Our independent variable would be the leadership skills. Okay, go back here. Let's try to copy that one. Okay, the mean is 4.61, then 4.60, 4.61, and this is 4.61. And then actually are all very high. Just copy this one. And the confidence interval must be 4.54 to 4.68. And then 4.52 to 4.68. Okay, and we have the 4.52 again to 4.69, and last one 4.53 to 4.68. Okay, delete. So same discussion. So the communication skills 4.61 has a mean, very high level, and lies within the confidence interval. Okay, same with our interpersonal skills, management skills, and leadership skills. Now, let's have number 3, determine the significant relationship between the work attitude and leadership skills. Okay, so in this case, we're going to make another table. The R, the interpretation, and then the mean, the R, and the interpretation. Okay, must be the center, and then the variables. The mean, the R value, and the interpretation. So the variables we have, let's try to get this one out. What happened? This must be deleted. Okay, so our variables are to work attitude, and then the leadership, the mean is 4.55, and then 4.61. Now we have to get this one and the other one. Okay, so take note that this would be our table. So work attitude and the leadership skills 0.742. So we have 0.742. Am I correct? Correct. Okay, and since it is highlighted with yellow, we are going to have 2 asterisks. The interpretation of this one, we have high. We have linear relationship. Okay. The 2 asterisks stands for significant at alpha because, oops, 0.05. Okay, so meaning that the R value between the work attitude and leadership skills, which is 0.742, has an interpretation of high positive linear relationship. Okay, so this R value is significant at 0.05 level of significance. So this means that we are going to reject. There is no statistical evidence to support our null hypothesis. Okay, since our R value has since in our R value there is significant relationship between the work attitude and the leadership skills, then we are going to get the linear regression, or the model that will describe the relationship. Okay, so, oh, by the way, table, we have our the dependent variable, then we have our coefficient, then the p-value, and the r value, r squared rather. So I usually make this one aligned at the center so that the table are pleasing to look at. So we have the dependent, the dependent variables, dependent variable, the coefficient, the p-value, and the r squared. Must be small letter. The r squared. Okay, here the independent, our dependent variable would be independent rather. The independent variable is our work attitude. With a constant. Okay, the coefficient of the constant is 1.07. And the work attitude is 0.78. 78. The p-value here is 0.00. And the r squared is 0.551. Okay, so meaning that the linear equation that will describe the relationship between work attitude and the leadership skills is, we have the leadership skills is equal to 0.78 times the work attitude of the teachers plus 1.07. Okay, so this would be the linear relationship, the equation that will describe, okay, the relationship between the leadership skills and the work attitude. So the leadership skills will increase by 1 unit if the work attitude of the teacher will increase by 0.78, provided that all factors are held constant. In this equation, there is 55.1% okay, of the data are being accounted by our model. So the other I guess that would be 40. What do you call this one? The other percentage of the data is not captured or not accounted by our model, maybe because there are other factors that that is affected. Okay, there are other factors that can affect the leadership skills of the teachers. Okay, since they are related with each other, which among the indicators can significantly predict or has greater contribution to the leadership skills of the teachers. So we are going to get the table again. We're going to make a table. But in this case, we have the indicators. And there are actually 5 indicators. 2, 3, 4, 5. And okay. By the way, we're going to place these. Okay. Place these legend. Okay. The commitment has a coefficient of 0.32. The open minus is 0.07. Then we have 0.06, then 0.09, and 0.09 with a constant of 1.21. The p-value of this is 0.00. Okay, and then we have 0.26, 0.24, 0.57, and 0. Oh, what happened? Oh, correct. 0.0001. Okay, single asterisk. And the R is 0.61. 0.613. Okay. So, in other words, if we have this model, okay, the percentage of the data being accounted by the model is actually 61%. So, there is an increase from 55 to 61%. So, it's well accounted. Now, among the indicators, only the commitment and the empathy has a significant at 0.05 level of significance. Therefore, these two indicators, the empathy and the commitment, can significantly predict the leadership skills of the teachers. And then between the two indicators, we have the commitment has a coefficient of 0.32, while the empathy is 0.09. Therefore, the commitment significantly has a significant contribution to the leadership skills of the teachers, followed by the empathy. Okay, so that's how we are going to interpret our data.